Yep, normal. Normal memory.
That's the kind of thing you like to come back to when you're already knee-deep in existential crises over whether or not you're even, like, real?
Nah, we're in a coma, remember?
Yeah, but if you can only exist in a virtual world, do you actually exist in real life?
Well, do you actually want the philosophical positions on this? Because, those fucking exist, let me tell ya.
Oh, I have no doubt that they do. Was it? I don't think it was.
You're gonna have to take our word on this.
That was definitely part of, Autumn's Fall.
But we're not talking about the dream just then, where they're talking about the... I can't remember if it was the last one or the one before, but there definitely was a time when Leah remembered. It was the interactive one, where we were walking around the cave and it wasn't obvious what we were doing.
I see.
That one. Anyway, there was one part of Autumn's Fall that I made a very specific point of not exploring in the past couple of videos. And I guess we're doing that now. We absolutely could have gone more or less right up to the gate to go to the raid area. But it would have been locked, and there's no fast travel point there. Well, there is one, but it's just inside the gate. So, I figured let's not.
That seems sensible.
We haven't actually powered up that much relative to the enemies here, but now that I've got the level 2 techs in order, we've basically powered up. Also, I continually forget that the hillcaps here are actually ice elementals, so doesn't matter. We kill them anyway. Yeah.
Absolutely thrilling puzzle content.
I don't know how you can even bring yourself to joke about puzzle content in Cross Worlds. We've just seen too much. This one's not exactly a head-scratcher though. It is a tiny bit annoying, but the timing here is pretty forgiving.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you.
Voice of the people. I mean, he's right, but still. Voice of the people. And I mean, to be fair, it's a much better point in this game than it is in pretty much any other game because of the whole conceit where this whole thing is basically instant matter powered telepresence. It's not, like, it actually is not a simulation.
Yeah, it rings slightly more true because this is basically one giant AR-powered MMO.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make her not right, though.
Like, it's surprisingly difficult to get a grip canon-wise on exactly how much of the actual environment is actually real, and how much of it is just instant matter fakery.
And you all said that I was bullying Trotty. I am vindicated.
I mean, all that means is that Emily's going down for it with you. Although it would be remiss of me not to point out that we, quite accidentally, have already repeatedly dumped Trotty into a lake. I mean, it wasn't for science, it just kind of happened that way, but I figure we can still extrapolate data from that.
Absolutely. Although, I think she's right, though. We should still do a controlled experiment just to be sure.
But yeah, in a completely different throwaway, Tronny pedantic lecture, he was talking about how the Hillcats have an animation for going digging over laser bridges. Which basically just is a little confirmation that a lot of this stuff is faked with well-timed instant matter deconstruction and reconstruction. So it's entirely possible that rather than touching actual water and exploding, there's basically just an invisible wall that makes them explode. How would anyone tell the difference? They'd have to, pick up a rock and throw it into the water to figure that out. Why didn't anyone think of that?
I'm glad that Leo was willing to help us with the experiment here. Just instantly cast herself into the lake.
Of course, we can't pick up a rock and throw it if none of the rocks are actually real either. There's kind of a whole big rabbit hole problem here. Anyway, how do you think we get this? This is so stupid. These stalagmites are all at slightly different heights, and there's exactly one on each side of the wall that you can jump onto. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
I'm actually kind of impressed that the game was able to get Emily and Trani up on there behind you.
I have told you about this game's pathfinding AI.
Well, no, I fully expected him to, fall into the water again. Like on that one ledge.
I mean, there's a weird area here with a lot of invisible walls. It turns out this is just how area boundaries underneath water work. They just turn into invisible walls. But then there's this whole thing. Really, game? You couldn't have just put a line there? Anyway, naturally, before we even think about talking to anyone, we've got a whole bunch of jumping to do here. Of course we do. Why wouldn't we?
I mean, I would expect nothing less at this point.
I mean, unless you just haven't been paying attention.
Okay, so what is the point of this boundary here?
I don't know.
Because, we couldn't have made this jump anyway. So, why even bother sealing it off like that?
You got me. I got nothing. Anyway, over here is God, I hate these pillars. I absolutely hate these. They look like they should all be the same height. Even by this game's standards, when you just come into it automatically doubting everything, even by this game's standards, they look like they should be consistent.
Oh, this is so bad.
But they absolutely are not. You gotta jump on the right ones. And all for a box of sandwiches. I'm just kidding, it's never about the sandwiches, it's always about the chest.
There are worse things to go hunting for.
You guys having fun down there? Actually can't examine all their names, I thought they were, like, special players of some kind, but no, they're just down there. Well, keep living your best life, guys. Did you notice Emily and Tronny absolutely being about to go and jump on all those pillars to reach us again? So yeah, Lucas gives pretty decent advice about leveling yourself. But mostly he just checks what level you are. It's not really very much of a mystery.
I was gonna say, is that a stat check or a level check?
Not really sure. It's probably a check of both your character level and the aggregate level of your equipment, which is a number that the game does track. See, Lynn's actually thought this through. Basically, we don't have to talk. We talk by murdering things. We let the violence do the talking.
They do say that your fists speak louder than your words.
Anyway, let's go on a raid. We knew it had to happen at some point, right? So yeah, this is an actual thing with like its own dedicated area and eventually unique enemies. Also, the music is a thing that exists. But to start with, it's just going to make us fight a couple of these guys again. But don't worry, this is going places.
I mean, I would be disappointed if it wasn't. It did build this up as a raid.
Yeah, they know their obligations. But we need to have a warm-up guy, right? Also, yeah, completely whiffed that laser. Doesn't matter. There'll be more. Mostly, for the time being, I'm just here for this music. I like all of the music in CrossCode, but sometimes it just goes up a level, you know? So... this is made to sound a lot more complicated than it is. We just get told to attack one of the particular colours of block, and then we do so. The blocks are element coded, pretty much how you'd expect. The deal is that every time we add a new colour into the mix, the main pillar gets a different kind of attack that it can start doing. And it starts throwing those out at us as we fight. The attacks also come out in different patterns as well as different elements. It's all very video gamey. Not really sure how else to categorize it, honestly. I guess the only other important thing to note is that the blocks don't really have a whole bunch of elemental weakness and resistance going on. Mostly you just have to hit them with basically anything. I feel like they're more weak to ranged attacks than melee, but I might just be making that up. Also, sometimes they plant themselves in real annoying places. Now, you know what game we're playing, so you know that we're gonna have to start doing trick shots to hit these things. Fortunately, you only have to hit each one twice in order to get it fighting, and once you've got it fighting, they will come to you. And the rest of this is basically just keep doing the stuff while the game continues spawning enemies and while the central pillar keeps doing big flashy element attacks. That's basically it. It is extremely MMO. So yeah, the game starts getting a little bit ahead of itself at this point and introducing elements we're not supposed to have yet. This doesn't seem to be very much of a problem though. Like I said, the block's elemental resistances don't really factor into this very much, so... you would think that like you have to hit the red ones with cold in order to get them broken, but no. Pretty sure you can actually hit them with fire if you want. It extremely does not matter. Anyway, most of the raid is pretty breezy difficulty-wise, but this particular room can just kind of be an enormous piece of shit because there's pitfalls everywhere. And you can just get buffeted around. Fortunately, just because of how the game's autosave works, each one of these that is on a different screen is a new checkpoint, so there's only so much backtracking that you need to do. I don't know why this screen in particular makes you do this first. God damn it, Buggy. Why does she call them greenish? Like, anyone? Anyone have a theory on this? Anyway, the other team are usually a lot faster about beating the blocks than we are. I don't know if this is, like... We can't see over into the other lane, so like I don't know if they're actually doing a fight over there, or if it's just some timing bullshit that spawns dialogue. But apparently they're able to get this stuff done a lot faster than we are. And this is all supposed to be level scaled, so it's not just because they're a higher level. But yeah, the longer these go on, the more and more patterns you start seeing. It's not massively difficult to deal with, but it is extremely dynamic. Also, yeah, I found a very weird way to make this shot. Like, come on. There we go. Finally found the normal way at the last possible minute.
This looks very samey.
Or how about doing the exact same thing again, but in a cave? In the game's defense, this is the last one of these that we'll have to do. I feel like this is another one of those times when the game is just pushing its luck a little bit, outstaying the welcome. Also, yeah, it's... I mean, the expression that I immediately go for is running joke, but I don't know if it comes up enough to be described as a running joke, but it's a thing of some kind that nobody's really sure what the wave element actually is. Like, heat is fire, cold as ice, shock is electricity, wave?
I mean, you know, I understand. I understand that struggle, I guess? I mean, I'm playing a game in which the elements are, instead of earth and ice, the elements are steel and spirit. So, you know what? Whatever.
I mean, there's also Pokemon, right? Just seems like that same kind of an energy. I guess it all depends on the terminology that the game uses to talk about this stuff. Like, Pokemon has a million billion of the things, but it calls them types. And it just seems like it's a tidier linguistic construction to call them a type than to call them an element. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Also, man, I never thought I'd see the bad puns coming from Emily.
She's having fun. We'll let her have it just this once.
I'll permit it. Anyway, let's go find a boss. So, welcome back to Bergen Trail.
Gonna say, we seem a bit far off from everybody else.
So, like, apropos of nothing in particular, remember when this game had, like, a main plot? Do you vaguely remember that?
I do recall there was some kind of... I think he was blue? And he was like, we were weird and we didn't, he was gonna remove us or some shit like that. And then we were like, nah, bro, we're just gonna play an MMO.
Yeah, there was some stuff that happened. That was a while ago. It has been like 29 videos since we had any cause to think about the plot. I am here to tell you that that hiatus is over. You know how I sometimes say that video games are like a conversation between the player and the designer, and most of the time that's figurative. So anyway...
I can't help but notice that this guy appears to have a lot of health bars.
Yeah... Who wants a 16-phase boss fight? Anyway, I guess it's traditional for RPGs to have you fight God at some point, so fuck it, why not?
I feel like we're a little bit early for the God fight. I think this guy reminds me more of just like a rogue Crossworlds admin than anything.
The theological status of it notwithstanding, there's a decent amount of power at play here. The fight itself is not particularly complicated. Mostly, it's about hitting him with the right element at the right time. Although, this isn't really anything to do with the element that he's using. It's just that sometimes he puts up a shield, and if you hit him with the element that's the opposite of the shield, it fills his break meter. Although I am actually getting ahead of myself, he hasn't put his shield up yet. For the time being, we can hit him with anything, and it'll do the job. And of course, we can take every available opportunity to make headway into the next phase. Oh man, he's rebalancing. So yeah, it takes me embarrassingly long to remember this, but his shield is red. That means that we need to be hitting him with ice. That's it. Like, that's really all of the puzzle at play here. But no, I just keep hitting him with whatever. It'll be fine, right?
That's true. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? You might have to only redo like 13 phases.
Yeah. Pretty limited, really. Anyway, his attacks are pretty straightforward. Mostly, he just throws these orbs at you and each one does damage in a different element and comes out in a different pattern. You'll notice as we go through the game that the developers of this game really like just a thing having 4 different attacks that come out in 4 different patterns. It's just a nice recurring thing. And then later he gets his weird orb scissors thing. I have no idea how you characterize it. This thing. And mostly you can tank through this stuff if you want, or you can fight him normally. Honestly, it's I mean, in credit to the guy, this is actually a well thought through, balanced boss fight.
I would agree with you if not for the sheer size of the health bar. Like, this is a great, well-balanced boss fight if he had, like, a quarter of the hit points.
That's a fair observation. But yeah, the fight's also a little bit lengthy. While we go through this, would you care to put forward any wild stabs at where you think the plot of this game is going? Because it's possible that you might not get another chance before things start coming into focus a little bit.
Well, I mean...
Let's hear it.
Fine, I will embarrass myself on this altar. My best guess as to what's going on here is that this guy is that developer we saw in the very beginning of the game. He has done basically the same thing as the player character that we had back then, and has shoved, in the same sense that, like, we are pretty obviously the same person as that girl from the beginning. So, my guess is that we are that girl trapped in an avatar, and this guy is the dude who is the programmer dude who was working with them on whatever this big project was, and this is his avatar. But, you know, because he was working on the project, he's gone now.
I confirm receipt of this theory. Also, he's fiddled the attacks around a bit more. When he does the orbs, we now actually have to break through some of them. And he's got a new, weird telekinetic thing of some kind, I'm not really sure. I never figured this attack out, I don't know what its deal is. I just get hit by it. Anyway, I've figured out the elemental gimmick now. It's good, we're flying. Grand finale?
It can't be time for the grand finale, you still have like 12 life bars left.
Yeah, but lasers. Lasers that we effortlessly tank using our level 1 guard art. Yeah, I don't know. It's very flashy, but it's not really much of a spectacle, really. Anyway, the good news is that at this point, more or less everything that he does starts tiring him pretty quick, so we can get the hits in. You know, just as soon as I take care of my health situation. Ah, come on. There we go. There's a surprisingly good range of times you can actually get hits in on him. You don't have to do it when he's flashing red and stunned, it's just, you know, that's just a particularly opportune time to do it. Also, seriously, come on. It's a hell of a fight. I honestly think I did pretty well out of it, actually. But it has that thing. where he gets stuck on that last bit of health. And he just keeps recovering his fucking break meter. And I keep forgetting about the basic element thing, but no. We're good. Ah shit, it's time for Dark Souls. So, fun fact, this is not a fight that you actually have to conclude in the traditional sense. If you just die during this fight, he just goes straight into this bit, which will continue indefinitely until you get hit. You'll notice he is counting his attacks, and he is using numerals to do so, you know, I assume this will continue until whatever the hell variable they're storing this in overflows, and probably still then.
Okay, so yeah, if you're actually supposed to die at this point, that has been terribly communicated.
It's not that you're supposed to die, it's that his health bar disappears, and he starts going on about how this is now impossible and you have one more hit.
I still don't like it. I still think that's a terribly designed fight in that regard.